What if Ice Age wasn't a family comedy, but the story of a terrifying divine plan? You all remember the human baby from the very first movie, but did you notice that after that, humans completely vanish from the saga, as if they never even existed? And what if I told you this wasn't just lazy writing, but a sign of a planned genocide?
Don't you see?
We're all gonna die!
A world rewritten by a single creature, ridiculous on the surface, but carrying a cosmic role.
What are you talking about?
Scrat. Yes, the squirrel obsessed with his acorn might actually be God's instrument. Or maybe even God himself. In the very first Ice Age, the entire plot revolves around a human baby. The whole story depends on him. His survival, his return to his tribe, the importance of humans in this world, and yet, after that movie, nothing. No more mentions. Not a single trace of human civilization in the sequels. It's as if humanity had been erased, wiped clean from history. But here's the thing, this isn't just a plot hole. In the Ice Age universe, every major catastrophe has a very clear origin. Scrat. Always there, always in the background, he triggers earthquakes, avalanches, cracks in the earth, floods. What if these weren't just slapstick gags, but signs of something much darker? What if Scrat's obsession with a single acorn was really a mission to wipe out humanity? As if God himself had decided to erase mankind and restart the world with animals.
There he is! Here he is!
Stop it! You're scaring them!
This mystery gets even stranger when we remember a short film that most people forget, No Time for Nuts. In it, Scrat finds a time machine. Of course he uses it, but what seems like just another silly gag takes a terrifying turn. Scrat ends up tearing a hole in the fabric of space-time. A rip in reality itself. And this changes everything. If we take that scene seriously, it's no longer just a joke. It's the very act that explains why humans vanish from the story, as if the balance of the world had been shattered and humanity was sacrificed in the process. But who could wield such power? A clumsy little squirrel? Or something, or someone acting through him? Because behind every crack, every catastrophe, every cataclysm in the saga, there's always the same detail. An acorn. That can't be a coincidence. The acorn isn't just a running gag. It could be the symbol of a much older force. What if Scrat wasn't just comic relief, but the unconscious instrument of a god deciding the world's fate?
Huh?
Look closely at the second movie, Ice Age: The Meltdown. It looks strangely familiar, almost like a scene straight out of the Bible. A massive flood threatens to swallow the entire valley. And at the end of their journey, what do the animals find? An ark. An ark ready to carry them away as they march 2 by 2, exactly like the story of Noah. This parallel is probably not just a coincidence. What if the flood wasn't a natural disaster at all, but a divine punishment? Remember, Scrat had just torn through the fabric of time with the machine. Such an offense could have triggered God's wrath, who decided to cleanse the earth, erasing those who had crossed a forbidden line. Humans. What makes it even more disturbing is that in this film, the only survivors we follow are the animals, not a single trace of humans, as if the entire species had been wiped from the story. And here's the chilling part. Scrat always seems to be at the center of these judgments, whether he knows it or not. In the meltdown, he nearly dies, rises to heaven, but is sent back to Earth, because his role isn't over yet.
I saved you, little buddy!
Scrat becomes unwillingly a kind of prophet of chaos. The flood was only the beginning. It wasn't an accident. It was the first step of a much bigger plan. Up to this point, Scrat looks like nothing more than an unlucky squirrel who accidentally triggers disasters. But what if it's much more than that? Think about it. In almost every movie, he causes the major events that shape the world. The flood, the breakup of continents, the meteor crashes. None of it happens without his obsession with the acorn. And yet, no matter what catastrophe unfolds, Scrat always survives. Even when he dies and ascends to heaven in the meltdown, he's sent back down. Why? Because his mission isn't finished. What if Scrat isn't God himself, but the hand of God? An unconscious servant, an instrument carrying out a divine will he doesn't even understand. He thinks he's just chasing a nut, but in reality, every move sets up a planetary upheaval. This is exactly what we see in so many biblical and mythological stories. Messengers, sometimes even insignificant creatures, chosen to bring about cosmic changes. Scrat may be an accidental prophet, the one paving the way for the great resets willed by a higher power. But then comes the most terrifying question. If Scrat is the hand of God, against whom is this hand raised? The humans, the dinosaurs, or one day, us. But in every divine story, there is always a counterforce, a power that doesn't seek to create, but to twist, corrupt, and destroy. And in the Ice Age universe, this force takes on a surprising face. Scratte. Introduced in Dawn of the Dinosaurs, Scratte seduces Scrat in a deeply unsettling way. She doesn't attack directly, she doesn't trigger disasters herself. Her weapon is temptation. Her goal seems simple, to separate Scrat from his acorn. But if the acorn is really God's instrument, the driving force of his cosmic plan, then Scratte isn't just trying to steal a nut, she's trying to sabotage divine will itself. Look closely at the details. Scratte is shaded in tones of red, a color long associated with temptation and danger. She manipulates Scrat with her charm, like a demon luring its prey. In contrast, Scrat is usually shown in lighter, almost pure tones. This isn't just a love rivalry, it's an allegory of good versus evil. Scrat, the hand of God, driven by a mission he doesn't understand. Scratte, the hand of the devil, sent to derail everything. And what if their battle over the acorn wasn't a comic gag at all, but a disguised cosmic war? Every time Scratte gets close, she isn't just trying to take a nut, she's trying to divert the entire world from its destiny. And the most terrifying part is that we never really know who wins. Because in the later films, the catastrophes keep piling up, and the shadow of the evil one always seems ready to strike through her. So let's ask the question no one dares to say out loud. What if, in Ice Age, the extinction of humans wasn't an accident, but a sentence? Look at the timeline. Humans are there, strong and present in the first film. Then comes the fracture of time, the flood, one catastrophe after another. And after that, no sign of them. No trace, no voice, not even a skeleton. As if Earth itself had erased them. But what if it wasn't Earth, but someone behind the Earth? Scrat, by triggering every apocalypse, fulfills a mission he doesn't understand. But the target is clear: humanity. Why? Because in this reading, humans are guilty of crossing a forbidden line, tampering with the mechanics of time, daring to play God. So God wiped them out, just as he once destroyed Sodom or sent Noah's flood. But this time, the angel of destruction wasn't a heavenly army, but a ridiculous squirrel chasing a nut. The most unsettling part is how the films emphasize the survival of animals. They adapt, evolve, grow smarter, almost human, as if creation had been reset to give another species what we had wasted.
Who walks like that?
Oh, look at me. I'm Julian. Forget the asteroid. Hey, give me a hug, bro, Dad.
Look at that pretty bird there.
And when we think of the baby from the first film, saved with so much effort, he becomes the symbol of a useless sacrifice. Because in the silence of the sequels, one chilling truth emerges. That baby never grew up. Humanity never survived. Hidden beneath the humor and family adventure, Ice Age might actually be telling the story of the end of the world. Our world. And what if I told you that the true god of the Ice Age universe wasn't Scrat, but the acorn? Think about it. The acorn is the only thing present in every movie, across every timeline, at the center of every catastrophe. The Atlanteans of Scratlantis worship it. The aliens in the fifth film placed it at the core of their culture. Even the fabric of time in No Time for Nuts is literally filled with acorns and clocks. Time and space fused into a single symbol. Scrat isn't God. Scrat is his servant. The unconscious prophet, obsessed, condemned to chase forever after the divine seed that rules this world. So this isn't just the slapstick of a clumsy squirrel. It's a hidden cosmogony. The acorn is the alpha and the omega, the beginning and the end, the fruit of chaos that triggers floods, fractures, and extinctions. So next time you laugh at Scrat chasing his nut, remember, what you're watching might be the staging of an apocalypse. Because beneath the humor and innocence of this family saga, Ice Age could be hiding its darkest revelation. Mankind has vanished, God has chosen his new creatures, and his prophet is a squirrel. Terrifying? Yes, but above all, impossible to ignore. Now tell me, do you think this theory is too crazy to be true, or did the creators purposely slip these clues in? Let me know in the comments, subscribe if you want more dark theories, and above all, share this video so more people can discover the hidden truth behind Ice Age. The choice is yours, gag or apocalypse.